Okay, so at this point in the broadcast, I just like to have a little bit of chit chat because nobody's on yet. They've got to find us. So tell me just a little bit. People will be able to see it in the replay. I don't like the way I got my camera angle. Looks like I have a double chin. Um, but introduce yourself. I want you to say your own last name because I butcher names. I even butchered John Sorbone's name the first time I talked to him. So so go ahead and introduce yourself and just give me a little bit of background about yourself, if you don't mind, while we're waiting for people just to kind of come in.
Sure. My name is Jason.
And thank you for being with me today.
No problem.
Okay.
Bear with me a second. I'm going to reduce my volume. Hypnosis in Rochester, New York. I've been a consulting hypnotist for about the last 8 years now. And I'm certified through the NGH, the IHA, the ASH, and HMI in basic and advanced hypnosis skills. And that's kind of a little idea of my background of hypnosis.
Okay, awesome. Well, thank you for joining me today. I know you don't have a lot of time. I think you probably only have like 15 or 20 minutes at this point. So we'll just go ahead and just jump right into the topic. And it looks like Melvin's joining us. Hey, Melvin. Eugen, Papa. I think I said that. I'm going to quit saying people's names because I don't know if I'm saying them right. But Tyrone. So thank you, everyone who is joining us. So, can you see his name in the title? Well, so Jason's name was in the original title, but we were having like technical difficulties. And so I had to redo the whole broadcast and send him another link. So that probably, sorry if your name didn't make it in the second title go around. I was just trying to get us up as quickly as possible, but your name is on the screen now. And I will go in when this is over and redo the title for the broadcast. Okay. Okay, cool. So everybody should see our names at the bottom of the screen too. All right, so Jason had brought up a very interesting discussion the other day, and this is talking about what I'd like to just call in general hypnosis exploitation, and whether or not it's good or bad for the industry as professionals. And by hypnotic exploitation or hypnosis exploitation, I'm talking about things like maybe what we'll see in the movies or on television or in the news, or when we have other hypnotists sensationalizing hypnosis. Does that bring, fear to the population, or does that just help people think that hypnosis is very powerful? And so on his page the other day, he got into a really good discussion. A lot of people joined in, and I just wanted to kind of continue that discussion live now. And I wanted to get Jason's thoughts on it, and then I want you guys to give us your thoughts on it and just chime in with your questions and comments. This is an interactive show, and as soon as we have time, then we'll get to your questions from the viewers. So Jason, so tell me a little bit about your opinion or your ideas of hypnosis exploitation.
Well, my thought on it is it's, right now, in my opinion, there's no right or wrong answer to the question as to whether or not this or pros and cons. I do recognize, and hopefully there is some conflict going on within our industry between hypnotists to, whether this is complete or whether it's something that in my opinion, the larger scheme of things is this helping our industry one way or another, or is it hindering it?
Yeah, and so that's the big question, right? Is it helping the industry or is it hindering it? And if it's hindering it, what is there to do? What can we do about it to so there's not such profound effects on the industry? Um, so it's something that's coming to my mind is there was a movie that was popular. I think it was last year. It's called Get Out. You saw that movie, didn't you, Jason? Okay, so
Yes, I did.
I mean, it was an entertaining movie as far as entertainment value goes. I didn't think it represented hypnosis very well. I would never send a client to a sunken place because that sounds so horrible, right? And and then just sort of like what they were using the hypnosis for was just kind of questionable. Um, what I found, however, so I had a lot of clients coming in saying that they came to see me because they watched that movie. So I thought after I heard it so many times, I thought I have to go out and see this movie and just see what they're talking about. I watched the movie kind of in utter disbelief that anybody would come to see me after watching that movie. But I actually picked up even more clients even after I saw it. And sort of the feedback that I got from them is that they believed that hypnosis was that powerful. So they kind of put their fear aside in order to get the sort of the power, the magic from hypnosis. But then I also wonder how many other people it frightened away.
On a similar note, shortly after that movie came out, I had a lot of people coming in, not necessarily because of the movie, but they would mention to me, "You're not going to make me do something like they did in that movie." And so it did intrigue people, but at the same point, which may have gotten them in the door, it did intrigue them, but at the same point, it created a fear in which they wanted me to assure them that I was not going to make them do something where they lose control as depicted in that particular movie.
Right, exactly. And that's the thing, right? How can we make people feel comfortable and, still get all the benefit, knowing that they can get all the benefits of hypnosis, but they don't have to be afraid of it. We do this in our pre-talks. We're not hearing a lot of news coverage about, well, hypnosis really helped get rid of that IBS. That's not sensational enough. But then when you hear that it's being a part of some sort of government conspiracy to brainwash people, this is what we're hearing in the news and in the media. We're not really hearing so much about all the wonder. I mean, sometimes we do. Sometimes you'll see, every once in a while, you'll see a little news clip about the health benefits of hypnosis or what have you, but most of the time it's just something that's very sensationalized.
I agree with that.
Yeah, and so there's not really no wrong or right answer to this question. I just thought that it was just something like interesting to contemplate.
One of the thoughts that I had going into this conversation was I look back at the 4 different schools of hypnosis that I got certified through. We know that there's literally hundreds of those organizations and schools out there. But one thing I found consistent between all 3 of them, I'm not saying they're right or wrong in this, but through those schools, they all suggest utilizing a pre-talk as a method of overcoming any misconceptions about hypnosis. And the purpose behind the pre-talk is to build rapport between the hypnotist and the potential client, and also in setting the client at ease. So for that intent and purposes, which is taught by at least the majority, I don't know all the schools out there, but at least the ones I went through, they all taught that concept. And we need to take our personal views, whether right or wrong, because there is no correct answer, at least nothing scientifically that disproves one or the other. We need to ask, is our approach with the client consistent with putting them at ease while building rapport, not for us, not for the client, but for our industry as a whole?
Right. And when we go into our pre-talks, there's things that we tell the clients to help remove the fear, because we want to remove fear and we want to set expectations. That's sort of the whole point of the pre-talk. Now, there's a way that we've got to do it, and so that we make the client feel very comfortable, but yet we're not stripping away all of the magic of the hypnosis, if you know what I mean. We're not stripping away the power of hypnosis from their belief system, yet we're making them feel comfortable at the same time.
Correct.
there's got to be sort of a balance in doing that, because I actually think hypnosis is more powerful even than when I'm telling clients in my pre-talk, just to make them feel very comfortable. But there's got to be sort of that balance there of relieving their fears, but setting expectations that they are going to have a really powerful, wonderful, almost miraculous experience.
I agree. I tell a lot of my clients that while hypnosis is not magic, in a sense, it's almost magical. And you're right, there is a lot of strength and power behind it and what you can do. Otherwise, it wouldn't be a viable way of helping people. But yeah, there has to be that fine line. And what we're finding is that there's a lot of conflict over where that line is. And I think that has led us to this conversation today. Is this truly helping or hindering us as a profession to the general public?
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm going to take some questions or go down and read the comments and get the audience involved now. And I don't think, Jason, you can see the comments on your end. So I'm just going to,
No.
I will, can you, if I do that, can you see it on the screen?
Not on my screen.
Can you see it on your screen?
No.
Okay, so I'll read it so you can hear the comments. I think the people in the audience can see that. So the first comment from Melvin is, he says, I had people at a marketing event literally run away once they found out I was a hypnotist. It did not, and it did not help that I had a cup of tea. Which is so funny because I get that a lot too. Like, if I see you stirring a cup of tea, I'm out of here. Right?
If I could say something on that one, I think you said it was Melvin put that out there.
Yeah, Melvin Marsh.
Yeah, it's true that in that particular situation that he was in, as soon as they found out he was a hypnotist, even without the cup of tea, it created kind of a fear in the eyes of the general public, at least that was at his event. And so that's the stigma we have around our profession right now. That's what I think we need to really address. And until we can get some sort of unified approach to this from both aspects, I think we're going to be up against that battle.
Yeah, and I'm wondering if it's also okay to have a little bit of fear, because I remember my first time being hypnotized, I was scared out of my wits. Yet I did it because I was sort of also at my wits' end and I couldn't think of any other solution to help me. And I kind of knew that my problem was mental. So I'm wondering, if I didn't have any fear of the power of hypnosis, I wonder if it would have worked as effectively on me.
That question remains unknown, but fear can be a powerful motivating thing, and in this factor, it definitely could. If people are getting up and leaving your event, maybe it crossed that line and it's a little too much fear.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's see. Oh, Melvin says he said he has not seen the movie, but I guess enough people have that. Melvin, it's an entertaining movie, but it's not, I don't really think it's great for hypnosis. All right, and then we have some hypnotists who are, putting some pretty broad claims out there in the public eye about what they're doing with their hypnosis, or what they feel is going on with hypnosis, which may or may not be the case, but they seem to probably be sensationalizing it a little bit more for their own gain. And just sort of, can we just kind of touch on the ethics behind that?
Yeah, absolutely. I was looking back at some of the information I had previously, and I noticed that most recognized or reputable certifying schools of hypnosis training have some sort of code of ethics that their members agree upon. And while we may have differences in opinion of how powerful or not hypnosis is, many of these claims that are being broadcasted, not one-on-one, but publicly via social media by some of our local practitioners, throughout the United States and possibly other countries too, I'm sure. a lot of it goes against or is really riding that line of going against the code of ethics that they agreed to, which takes us back to, is this really helping or hindering our profession? Not the individual, not our personal beliefs, but the profession as a whole.
Absolutely. And that's something that I think a lot of us professionals are very protective of it, because this is definitely our livelihood. You're right. And we want more people to experience the wonderful benefits of hypnosis and not be afraid of it. And, you know, and I don't know the answer to that. Like, how can we, you know, not make that happen as much, because we can't really do anything about it. I think the only thing we could do at this point is just maybe have discussions like this, and then obviously in our pre-talks with our clients, we can help, you know, remove any of that fear. But yeah, just very interesting discussion. So and Jason, I think you might be frozen, but I think we're all hearing you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
I think you're frozen on your side, so sorry about that. This is just such a glitchy.
That's okay.
glitchy.
It's working fine on my end. As long as they can hear me, we're good to go.
So it's 1/2 past the hour. Did you need to run, or can you hang out for a little while longer?
I have about 10 more minutes left. Yep.
Okay, 10 more. And just let me know when you need to get off, and we're just gonna continue this discussion. And I would like people who are viewing us to chime in with your questions, your comments, whatever you want to talk about within this subject, or if you have any questions for Jason specifically or me specifically, feel free to comment on it, or let us know your opinion. How do you feel about hypnosis being exploited in the way that it is, especially by other hypnotists who are, you know, just kind of, I think it's like they're trying to make themselves look like super powerful, but it's maybe not in the most ethical way possible. And then sometimes it hurts the industry. Now,
and I think that's,
go ahead.
I'm sorry. I was going to say, I think that's where we need to really refine what we're talking about. Not how do we feel so much about exploitation of it, but we need to refine it down to how do we feel on how it helps or hinders our industry as a whole. Because we're all entitled to our own beliefs, our own theories, our own ways of practicing. But as a community of hypnotists, the way we handle things has an effect on the people that we're reaching out to. So how does the exploitation, one way or another, positively or negatively affect our industry as a whole?
Right. And like what Jason Lynette always says, what's good for hypnosis is good for hypnosis. And we can inversely, you know, say what's bad for hypnosis is bad for hypnosis, right?
Absolutely. There was a nice quote put out on, I believe it was Facebook this morning. I believe it was Tom Nicoli. And I'm not going to say the quote because I don't have it in front of me, but it was something that if we focus on resolution to a problem and not on the problem itself, we will go farther. That was kind of the thought behind it. And I think with this particular situation, at least from the post that I put up the other day, we saw a lot of people defending their belief systems. So everyone was kind of focusing on what they thought was right rather than on a resolution to the problem. And I think, at least here in the United States, we have an issue right now where hypnosis has not yet become mainstream or completely accepted by mainstream society. And I think part of, in my opinion, part of that battle is due to this inner conflict that we're having within our industry itself. How can we get the acceptance by mainstream society, by medical society, by insurance companies, whether you agree we want to be accepted by insurance or not? There's a lot of conflict there, but how do we get acceptance by the majority as a legit profession that is used for helping people and further them? if we can't come together and unite. So I think we need to look more for a solution rather than to defend our own personal beliefs.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that. And how can we come to a solution? How can we sort of unite from within the industry and all this infighting that goes on at times? You know, what is the solution to that?
Well, I think posts like this or you know, these groups like we're doing right now, of getting people to collaborate these ideas, definitely necessary. And again, if everyone stays focused on trying to come to a resolution rather than trying to defend themselves, I think more of this type probably what's going to bring about resolution.
Absolutely. And I think I just lost your audio. Can you say something for me?
I'm here. If you can hear me, just nod your head.
Okay, I can hear you now. Thank you. And so I don't know if other people, can somebody comment in the audience if you can hear Jason and if you can hear, you know, both of us?
If you can hear me, just say hello on screen.
Just say hello. If you can hear Jason, just say hello. And if you're enjoying this broadcast, put the #1 in the comments. Put the #1 in the comments if you're enjoying this broadcast. And I'll give you a big oh yeah. Let me find my notebook. I'll give you a big oh yeah. Okay, Melvin says hello. Yes, we can hear. All right, thanks, Melvin.
Good.
Sorry, what'd you say, Jason?
Something else I've noticed in our industry over the past few years is there's been a lot of creation of new organizations around hypnosis. And one of our colleagues put out a nice post maybe a year or so ago is that why don't we come together as these organizations and kind of come up to a more unified approach to our field, as opposed to popping up all these different organizations that are just fighting each other. And that was something that came to mind too. It's you know, there is issues within our industry as with any. How are we going to overcome them? And you know, one of the big things is the society perception of what we're doing. How are we going to overcome that obstacle and come together as a united group of hypnotists?
Yeah, and that's a great question, because that's definitely something that our industry needs. We just need to be more unified. I mean, we all come from different schools of thoughts. We all come from, you know, we're all taught hypnosis differently. And we belong to different organizations, right? Hypnosis organizations. So how do we get the entire industry sort of like unified to stand together to help advance our field?
Feedback or opinions on that from those listening would be great. I think that's what we're kind of looking for, the deeper answer to this.
Yeah, let's see. All right, Melvin has a comment, so I'm going to show his comment and I'll read it out loud to you so you can hear it. Okay, so I think that covered your face. He says, I am not in love with the exploitation. A client I took over from another hypnotherapist was pretty clearly being exploited and being lied to by his other hypnotherapist, who he's about to drop and go only to see me. There are a lot of people out there that are going out who are not trained, hide their training, assuming they have any, and are probably doing more harm than good. I think I spend more time fixing shoddy hypnosis work from sketchy hypnotists. I am right now not charging for that work, simply to help repair the damage to the person and to the profession. So that's pretty crazy there too, that is happening within our industry.
You know, Steph, I think that is a whole nother issue in itself, is because there is no, at least here in the United States, there is no standardized protocols, so to speak, within our industries and how we practice. While, you know, there's negatives and pros to both having a standardized system, a lot of people don't want us to be, you know, governed and controlled, which I can see they're tied on that. But at the same time, when there is none, it leaves the door open to these people that are not trained and that are out there causing more harm than good.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, I hear about these people that pop up from time to time. I've never had to really deal with any of those, except for maybe some online hypnotists that I've had, you know, that people have come to me for. But just as far as having their own practice, because I think that unless you're a fairly good hypnotist, you don't really get far in this industry. And that includes, you know, being an ethical hypnotist as well.
Yeah, true. A lot of those hypnotists, for good reasons, weed themselves out within a very short period of time. But even if it is a short period of time, the damage that they can leave could be, you know, long term, and it does hinder the reputation of our industry. So again, there's pros and cons. How do we resolve these types of issues?
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, hypnosis can be a little bit dangerous in the wrong hands. You know, somebody could know just enough hypnosis to be dangerous. But, you know, because hypnosis is a tool, and I always liken it to a hammer. So with a hammer, you can use that to build things with, right? Or you can, and you're supposed to build things with hammers, but you can also take the hammer and hit somebody over the back of the head with it, right? And it's really about the person using this tool and what their intentions are. And I think that there are some people who don't have as good of intentions who use hypnosis, and they do know how powerful it is, and then they use that part of it. Some people say that that's not even possible, that we do have this, what's called the hidden observer or the hidden protector, that's protecting us at all times, so that a hypnotist could not do something to you that you didn't want done to you in a state of hypnotism. Do you want to comment on that?
You know, I've seen and read and heard information supporting both sides. You know, the way that most schools are put out, it's that there is this hidden observer that can protect you. A lot of scientific studies that have been done have shown that. And then on the other side of the coin, we have some really prominent movers and shakers in our industry, many of whom which are no longer with us, who have done their own studies, who have done books and publications on just how you could overcome or go past that critical part there to making those decisions. And if you know, in support of that, and I'm not saying I'm in support or not, but in support of that, you look at advertising, marketing, and social media. There are thousands of people right in front of us that are being persuaded to do things that they may have not otherwise thought, whether it be in their actions or in their way of thinking. I think social media is a great one, showing people making irrational decisions based on something they heard or read, factual or not.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And what would you give to viewers who, I think we have a lot of hypnotists and hypnotherapists watching this, but then we have some just regular people out there. What would you tell them so that they can feel safe when searching for a hypnotist or hypnotherapist to work with them? What would
My personal view would be to make sure that you seek out somebody who is trained by a recognized organization that has a track record behind them. Pretty much if they are insured and they're certified and they have some testimonials behind them, kind of gives you that peace of mind that you're working with a professional, not somebody that just simply opened up a book and, you know, start seeing people off to the side that has no traces as to where they've come from with their background and knowledge.
Yeah, absolutely. Make sure they've been established for a while. They have a business license, that kind of stuff. You don't want to just go to some random hypnotist off the internet, right? That you don't know what their background is. So do make sure that you do your research. There are a lot of great hypnotherapists out there, and hypnotherapy, hypnosis is a really wonderful tool that should be utilized often because it's just so powerful and so wonderful. And speaking of wonderful, you are wonderful, Jason, for joining me today, and I thank you so much for your time and your expertise. And where'd you go? Okay. And I don't know if he's frozen or I'm frozen, but thank you so much. And thank you guys for showing up. I'm going to give you all a big, oh yeah, for showing up. I appreciate you guys so much. And hopefully you can still see this. I don't know if we're frozen, but Thank you so much. I love you guys, and I'll see you soon. Bye.